Hey guys, I'm Steve and welcome back to the channel where we talk about the joys of stock market investing and long-term dividend gain. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit the subscribe button. Trust me, you will not regret it. And if you're a returning subscriber, as always, welcome back. Listen, guys, I want to make an announcement real quick. I do not have a WhatsApp. When you get to a certain amount of comments, I noticed that in the comment section, on our channels, you will get spam. That is spam. That is not me. I do not have a number that I want to give you to have you call me so I can give you some type of financial advice or give you a hot stock. That is not me, guys. Do not mess with that. That's spam. YouTube has been reported to YouTube. YouTube is well aware of that. Us as a lot of financial investors in this space and other spaces, we're all victimized by that. It's nothing we can do. We report it, but they come back. So that's not me, guys. So I'm sorry if it's any inconvenience. Do not call those numbers. I do not have a WhatsApp. So let's get that out the way. Second of all, yesterday I did a video about an apology video to my subscribers and viewers where I felt as though I was out of character. I was cursing, which I try not to do in my videos. And in the video, I apologize. But let me explain something to you. You guys make us who we are as YouTubers. You support us and you subscribe to us. We should give you the best of who we are. And yesterday, I feel as though with me being animated, I was really like turned up, and I apologize. But a lot of you guys gave some supportive comments, and I'm going to shout you out real quick. Let's go. First person, my mother was right. Danny, Roz Bliss, as usual, Miss Roz always report. DeLeon Lifestyle, T.O., Styling with Mary, Your Pleasure 721, thank you. Gil Adamowski, Nikki Shelton, Marina Jackson, and always Miss Cynthia Scarborough. Big up to all you guys that commented. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. But guys, I'm gonna talk a little bit today about some investing mistakes. In fact, eight investing mistakes I'm going to talk about. I might have more, but we'll count 8 right now. A lot of you guys have not invested in the stock market, but you always were interested in. I've seen it in the comments. Listen, guys, you have to avoid these type of mistakes that I'm about to tell you, and they're very, very, very common. So without further ado, let me jump into them. Not understanding something that you're investing into, or not understanding a stock before you invest in it. Now, you know the name and you know what they do a little bit, but not doing any research, guys, you're destined to fail. Sometimes you'll get what's called the FOMO complex, and you'll see it a lot. A while ago, we had the FANG stock thing taken off, which is FANG is an acronym for Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. They was like taken off a couple years ago, and they were like basically running in the market. When they took off, the whole market would take off. We were in a bull market at the time. Every day was like almost a green day. The market just kept going up. The S&P 500, all of the major indexes were skyrocketing, and they were led by those 5 companies. A lot of people jumped on them. Now that we're in the recession, into the bear market, those stocks have fell like everyone else. That's, other companies. So I'm not just talking about them because a lot of those are good companies. But I'm just talking about, the reason why I brought that up is I want to explain to you guys, never fall victim to the fear of missing out. That's what FOMO means, F-O-M-O. Never fall victim to that. There are many stocks that are out there. There are tens of thousands of businesses that can get you straight and on the road to financial freedom. So you don't have to pick a stock because everybody else is picking it, because everybody else doesn't know what you know, or some experts said it. I talk about stocks I love all the time, but I've been owning these stocks for years. So sometimes if I say, hey, I brought something, it's not that I just brought it. I've owned it. And, I just figured out, tell you guys that when you're watching me and other YouTubers, when they're telling you, they're all exuberant saying, hey, I did this, I did that. A lot of times they've owned it for a while. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't jump in any stock? No, I'm not telling you that. But what I am telling you is thoroughly do your own research before you make the decision to put a stock in a portfolio or to invest your money in something. Because at the bottom line, you want to sleep at night. You know, you don't want to have no worries. You want to know you made the right thing and your money went to the right place. Mistake number 2. And I fell victim to this. Falling in love with a stock. Just because you own a stock, the stock does not know you own it. It doesn't care if you own it or not. Somebody else will buy it, somebody else will sell it. It doesn't know when you buy it or sell it. So never get emotionally attached to a company or anything like that. Get emotionally attached to the performance the company gives you. You know, another thing, lack of patience. This is big. The stock market is a slow crawl process. You get a stock, do not expect it to flip overnight and you double your money. It's not like that. This is a long game. In the beginning of my videos, I tell you, welcome to the channel where we talk about the joys of stock market investing and long-term dividend gain. I plan on holding my stocks forever. And there are some stocks you can hold forever. Not all of them you can. Some stocks are for growth. Some stocks are just boring stocks, you know, and those are the kind of stocks I usually invest in one of my 3 portfolios. What are these stocks? They're all over the place. I can name a few, but I don't want to do that because I don't want this to be taken out of context. But there are a lot of stocks out there, guys, that will get you where you want to go financially. Don't have lack of patience. When I say lack of patience, you're sitting there, you're looking at the stock, you're screaming, do something, do something. It's not like that. When you first make an initial portfolio to really see the returns, and you can look this up on different websites where you look at the returns on dividends, because I deal with dividends. Dividend stock is a stock that pays you for owning it. Every 3 months, every 6 months, every 9 months, every year. 3-month increments. Those are the ones I usually invest in. Now, all of them don't go annually like that, where, you know, you get paid every 3 months. Some of them you get paid half a year. Some of them you get paid once a year. It all depends on your investment journey and understanding that. But I do get paid a profit for owning a company from them selling. So it's basically, like I said, when you buy a company, you're buying into a business. And they pay you the percentage of the money you put in, and it's broken down in the form of a dividend. The more money you put in shares of stock, the bigger amount your dividend, you know, it increases your dividend and the more amount you get back. It's common sense. The more money you put in the business, as far as ownership stake, the more your return is. So that's that on that. Number 4, this is a big one, excessive stock turnover. When you get a portfolio and you start, you know, the portfolio is just, you know, the stocks that you buy, that's called your portfolio. Make sure you make the sound decision and you say, okay, before I buy this stock, I'm going to hold this stock for some years. No matter what it does, I'm going to hold it, you know, and it's a good company. I've done my research. I know it's a good company. I'm going to hold it, whether it goes up or down, because, you know, the economy and different things like that have a fluctuation on the price. You know, it's just a normal thing. The economy is normal. Companies reacting, that's normal. It's everyday life. If you picked a good company, something like Johnson & Johnson or something like that, you know, Procter & Gamble, all of these blue chip companies. You remember that word, blue chip? A blue chip company, you pick a blue chip company, no matter what, the stock go up or down, you still know you got a good company. Why would you trade that off for something that you think, you know, is going to take off the next big thing? Earlier in my investment journey, guys, I was going through it because I didn't know anything. You know, and I'm self-taught in this. A lot of us are. I didn't know nothing. I'd be sitting here and I'd look on my Ameritrade account and I see a stock went up 17% in a day and the stock was only $8. I'm like, oh my God, that's the next big thing. Listen, some stocks are small for a reason. You know, they're small cap stocks, mid cap stocks, which are medium cap stocks, and you got large cap stocks. You know, I'm not even looking to see what cap the stock is. I'm not even looking to see what the stock does. I just seen it went up 17% in a day. And I would go sell a goods company to get the money and then reinvest it in something like that. And it would stay stagnant. And then I'd jump out of that and I see it was going down. I'd jump out of that and I'm taking losses every time because every time I traded, it was in the red. But it took me a couple of months to figure that out. So, I mean, the loss was what was, I mean, I lost a few $100s, but I figured that out real quick. And I don't want that to happen to any of you guys. So, I mean, I'm just speaking from my experience. Avoid that. Avoid excessive stock turnover. As an initial investor, and this is just me. I'm not no financial advisor. I'm not no guy on YouTube, but common sense is common sense. If you don't know nothing about stock investing and you find some stocks that you like, as a beginner, I employ everybody to get you about 3 to 5 stocks that you like, that you think are going to be, you know, that are good blue chip companies or good companies that are going to be in humanity after you pass, or you think are here to stay. Do your research, guys. That first year, just hold those stocks. And when I say hold those stocks, put your money in them stocks. Every month, you dollar cost average, you put your money in those stocks. When I say dollar cost average, or the terms DCA, meaning every month you're putting a little bit of money in these stocks. A little bit of money in your portfolio, and then you're allocating that money to your stocks, and you're buying more shares of that stock. It's the easiest way to understand the market. You know, one share of stock that goes up $10, if you had 10 shares of stock, you're up $100. 100 shares of stock, you're up 1,000. You see how that goes? Always invest. You know, 3 to 5 stocks, they're easy to take care of. They're easy to keep track of. You know, a lot of us got 9 to 5, you work 12 hours sometimes. We don't have time to keep looking at our phone. If you pick a good stock, and it's a sound quality investment, you don't even have to look at it. You know? So that's that. Avoid jumping in and out of stocks. You will take a loss. It will catch up to you sooner or later. And then a lot of times you sell a stock and you'll be like, man, you know what? I should have never did that. And I went through that with Apple. I sold Apple when Apple was smaller. You know? I had Apple in 2017. I'm going to jump out of Apple. I'm going to get Ford. I messed up. I ran Ford for a year, and I'm like, man, Ford ain't doing nothing. I was like, you know what? It's just one of them things. Another thing, and you'll hear this from every YouTuber on here, or anybody that's into any type of financial market trading. Do not attempt to time the market. This is not Russian roulette. I mean, I don't want to say Russian roulette, but gambling roulette, where you can try to pick a number and think the ball lands on it. You got better chance with that. The market is unpredictable. Nobody knew the market would fall the way it's falling right now. And some of these stocks are at an astronomically low price. And they are right for the picking. Nobody saw that coming. You cannot time the market. You cannot jump in and say, oh, I'm going to get it here at this rate and it's going to go up. It's not. You don't know. You never know. So it's one of those things where, you know, get a good quality stock. Stick with it. It'll work out fine. That's number 5. Number 6, waiting to get even. This is also called cognitive error. You don't want to make a cognitive error where you pick a stock, the stock start going down. You see that the stock is a losing stock. And this goes back to point number 1, not understanding a stock. You know, this happened to me. I picked I was on Workhorse. I'll give you an example. Workhorse, ticker symbol WKHS. I thought it was going to be the next Tesla. Oh, they make utility vehicles and stuff that's going to be used in the energy field, and they make electric trucks. I don't see Tesla with the electric trucks. They don't have the technology that Tesla has, and they're still small. In fact, they're real small. It was like a $6 stock. I brought like 500 shares of that. Luckily, I kept it long enough to where I doubled my money at the time, and I jumped out of it, and I was like, oh man, let me see, I can invest in something else, and I got my money out of it. But I'm telling you, don't time the market, guys. You know, and when it comes to waiting to get even, there are stocks you'll get and they might go down and keep going down. and you're like, man, this stock is really not doing good. And I'm not saying on a monthly basis. I'm saying like yearly. Like you might have had this stock, right? And it might be, a non-blue chip stock. You might have had this stock, and the stock, it's going down, and you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna sell it, or I'm gonna wait till I get back to even, and I'm just gonna get rid of it. It's just a headache. Listen, you lose two ways from that. Number one, your money's being drained, and you see it being drained, and you know it's losing stock. Sometimes you gotta cut bait, and you gotta know when, okay, all right, I'm losing this. I don't want to lose no more. You cut bait and you take a loss. I've taken a loss. Anybody that has invested in the beginning has taken a loss until they figured out what was going on. Very few people have not made this mistake. Another thing with getting even, how you mess up is the money that you're losing on a daily level. You could be investing somewhere else in a better investment. Like a blue chip stock. The money could be there. Yeah, you're losing, but you might get it back faster by investing in a better, security. Number 7, failing to diversify. A lot of you will hear the term diversification. Diversification means when you're in the stock market, you're not getting a bunch of stocks in the same sector. And they are different sectors. You have technology, you have industrial, consumer staples, consumer cyclical, among others. They're different. Each stock that's on in the exchange fits under a certain section or a certain sector, So it's better to diversify, to have stocks in different sectors, because at certain times of the year or certain times of the day, a certain sector will be down. And you don't want to have all your stocks in one sector. It's a no-brainer, guys. You want to have diversity. Some sectors will be down and some sectors will be up. And it minimizes your losses and gains during the day. Number 8, letting your emotions rule. And this is a big one. Do not, a stock is not going to do what you want it to do. Don't get fed up with it and get rid of it. If it's a good company, don't listen to what other people say. We're considered a semi-crash in the market right now, right? You'll hear that word, and that's a wrong word to use, but it's thrown around loosely. Oh, we're in a crash. The recession is creating a crash. Listen, if you are a long-term investor like me, a lot of this stuff that I name, you don't even have to worry about it, because you picked a good company. Like me, in the stock market, when the stock market crashes, this is not the 1920s where everybody invested their whole life savings in the stock market because it was the next big thing and it was hot. And a lot of people expired, whether voluntarily or involuntarily, and it was a lot of mess with it. This is not like that. Keep your emotions out of it. When you look on TV, a lot of times they try to spread hysteria. They try to spread fear to you. Oh man, we don't know. Listen, no stock out there will go to zero. If you're watching your investments, no stock will ever go to zero, because if that's the case, the company be worthless. You would get the news before that. If you're investing, you would see the news before that, and you would have time to get out. I don't know why people would say this. Oh, the stock's going to go to zero. Facebook, Google, Amazon, sometimes they're going to have bad earnings calls. As soon as they have a bad earnings call, the stock will drop. It's a good company. People are like, you know what, I'm done with it, and they sell it. Those are good companies, and they're falling at a rate, at some time or another, at a value that's right for you. Now, everybody's sense of value is different. Everybody's portfolio balance is different. For example, I started off 8 years ago. It's 7 years. 8 years I've been investing, but 7 years ago, 8 years. 8 years ago, I started investing. After that first few, I had a rough first year because I was making a lot of these mistakes. Then I figured it out. Now, since then, my initial investment is $60. I've well passed over 6 figures because I did the right thing and I listened to a lot of what some of the greats have said. You know, Peter Lynch, Warren Buffett. I studied those guys, you know, and I finally used discipline and did what they said and ignored a lot of the noise and blinking lights in the market. You know, I used to sit up here and I'd look at a place like CNBC and I'd see all those numbers moving at the bottom and all those green lights and all that dinging and moving and stuff. It was like the casino. I'm like, you got to be smart. You got to be a genius to figure this out. And then when I looked and I really understood, it's nothing but smoke and mirrors. That's what scares a lot of people too. Sometimes don't trust what you see. You know, you buy the news, not the name of a company. You know, so you don't fall in love with anything. You know, I don't let my emotions rule. You shouldn't either. If you pick a company that you like, you picked it. You know, don't expect to be rich overnight, and don't expect you know, the stock not to go down sometimes. But if you got a good business, a tried and true business, you know, a necessary business, you shouldn't worry about it. I mean, different things can affect the stock market. The war in Ukraine has nothing to do with America over here, but it still affects the stock prices. It's just one of those things, guys. You know, but how do you avoid these mistakes? I'll tell you. First thing you want to do is develop a plan of action. What do I mean by a plan of action? When you're first starting off investing, this is what you want to do. You want to know 3 things. Number 1, what is my investment life cycle? Basically, how long am I going to be holding these securities, these stocks? For me, it's a lifetime. You know, I want to make sure I'm not a burden to anybody when I'm about to expire on this planet, especially my children. You know, I own my own business. I have enough money to buy multiple nominal shares of stock. You know, a lot of you guys don't, but I wasn't always like that. You know, so first thing is, what's your investment life cycle? How long you want to hold the stock? Second thing, in this developing a plan of action, guys, what is your investment goal? You know, like I said, I'm doing it for the long term. I'll buy a stock and hold it forever. Don't have to look at it every day because I know I made the right decision. I'm making money in my sleep, and you can too. Third thing of avoiding mistakes in the plan of action: how much you need to reach your goal. See, a lot of people might, like me, I'm investing for my retirement to where I can travel anywhere I want, you know, and not have to worry about money. Like I said, I don't want to be a burden on my children. Some of you out there are young. You got a lot of time. I started investing late, so my timeline is limited. A lot of sand in my hourglass is gone already, so I don't have room for mistakes. How much you need to research a goal? Like I was saying about researching the goal, how much money do you need? Some of you guys want to just invest to make some money to buy a house. It might be to buy a car. I mean, some people do that. Not everybody is long term, but you want to know how much money you need at the end to make it to that goal and how much money you want to invest. And once you do that, you go to point 2 I want to make about avoiding mistakes and plans, you know, of how to avoid them. You put your plan on automatic. And when I say automatic, meaning you dollar cost average. I spoke about that earlier. Every month you put money into these stocks. The way I looked at it was this: if I can pay $600, $700 for a car payment, if my car is paid off, that money I can allocate into the market and build my wealth for the future. It's simple. You know, you can do well by putting $100 a month in your account. $25 a month can get you to some of your investment goals, you know, and it's very simple. Another thing, number 3 of avoiding mistakes: ask for help when needed. Don't think you know everything, you know. And luckily for me, I was very humble about that. You know, I have a lot of high profile clients, you know, and they said, listen, anything you need, you come to me, because I had good character. I was honest with them. They liked me, took me under their wing, and they taught me things. And some of the stuff you got to go to school to learn. But I'm on here giving it to you for free. You know, everybody deserves the right to be happy in life. And everybody deserves the right to know how to build wealth. They don't teach us this in school. You know, amongst a lot of other social things. That's why the world messed up. You know, they don't teach us this in school. And it's done like that for a reason. And my conspiracy theorists know there are always going to be rich people and poor people. You know, consumers and producers. All through life, we've been taught to consume. Buy, buy, buy. The economy's messed up right now because of a bunch of people buying. Me included. Buy, buy, buy. And then you got other people who are suppliers. And they supply. Buy from me. The consumers fund the suppliers. And the suppliers get rich. And the consumers stay normal. For there to be any type of rich folk, there will have to be somebody that's poor. Anything in life, and it's just universal law, anything in life that is built, something else is destroyed at the same time. You know? And it's just life. But guys, in closing, I like to say this. There is no get rich method. Nothing will get, unless you hit a lottery ticket, which I don't suggest you do it neither. There's no get rich method at all. Even when you invest, there is not anything that can get that the portfolio is not going to flip overnight. It takes patience, you know, and understanding. Because once you understand it, then, you know, it takes a lot of anxiety out of it. Don't expect your portfolio, like I said, to grow overnight. The only way you can make this work is you have to have a consistent long-term strategy over time, and it will build wealth. I guarantee. Pick the stocks, pick good stocks. Add a little money into the stocks and buy shares of that stock every year. Every month. Allocate money into your stock portfolio. Buy the shares when you can, and you're going to be all right. Be patient, guys. Be disciplined, and you'll be fine. I'm Stock Market Steve. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an awesome Veterans Day. I love you as always. Leave me a comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.